In this video, you'll learn 3 easy yet spicy and sophisticated sounding chord progressions for your guitar playing. Now, despite some of the advanced sounding names of these chords, they're actually not that difficult to play, and in some cases, they're as easy or easier to play than open chords. Hi, this is Simon Candy from acousticguitarlessonsonline.net, and in today's lesson, I'm going to show you 3 beautiful sounding chord progressions for your guitar playing that use a variety of chords, including the augmented chord, the minor major 7 chord, the add 9 and the major 7 chord, amongst others. The third progression I show you is reminiscent of a song everybody knows, but I wonder if you'll pick it because it's not so obvious until I point it out to you. But first, we'll look at each of the chords that we're going to use across the progressions today in isolation. Then I'll show you how they sound in context via the 3 progressions that we'll be covering in today's lesson. And then I'll break each one down for you in detail so that you can learn to play it, but more importantly, understand it so that you can take the ideas yourself and create your own variations of each progression. So let's get to it. So the chords that we're going to use today, let's have a look at 3 of the main chords that feature throughout these progressions. There'll be other chords around them, but I want to focus on these 3 chords now and just show you them in isolation. They're going to sound quite dissonant to your ear most likely, but when you hear them in context, which you will just in a moment, you'll see how amazing they do sound. The first one is an augmented chord, a D augmented chord. So we've got a standard D chord here. Okay, and what I'm going to do is when we augment a chord, what that means is we take the 5th of the chord and we raise it by a semitone. So the 5th of a D is the A, and I've got an A here on the 3rd string, 2nd fret, and so I move that up to A sharp. Now to do that, I need to take that first finger off. My 2nd finger can go onto the 3rd fret so where it was playing the F sharp, I now have it playing the A sharp, 3rd fret. And in doing so, I'm actually going to leave the open string open. So we get this. So technically, I guess we'd call that a D suspended 2 augmented. D augmented suspended 2. Okay, but again, don't worry about the names of these chords. Focus on the sounds and how to play them. It's very simple, right? Once you sort of realize that, okay, this finger comes off, this one comes off and goes on to the A sharp, this 3rd finger stays in place, all you got is this little 2 frets on the 3rd fretted notes rather, on the 3rd and 2nd strings, along with open D and open E. So that's our D augmented chord there. And we're going to do a similar thing with the A. So again, we're going to be suspended with the A. So we suspend the chord like we did with the D, and then the 5th of this chord is on the 4th string, and so I'm going to use my 2nd finger to augment that, to raise it up a semitone to an F, and because that is the case, my 1st finger will play A on the 3rd string, and then I'll leave the top 2 strings open. So that's the A suspended 2, A augmented suspended 2 chord, if you like. Okay, we're augmenting the suspended 2. I know it sounds confusing, but again, look how simple it is to play and focus on the sound. I mean, that's a beautiful sound in and of itself. It might sound off to you, I can appreciate that, but we'll get your ear attuned to it very shortly when we look at it in chord progressions. Now, the last chord, also very dissonant, is what we call a minor major 7. So that's a minor chord with a major 7th. Okay, so this is D minor major 7. Quite dissonant. But all we're doing, if you think of a D minor chord, standard D minor open chord, now that's minor, but to put the major 7th in, we need to add a C sharp. So the root note D is on the 2nd string at the 3rd fret. So if we move that down 1 fret, there you go. You've still got your minor chord, D minor, but you've just put in this major 7, D minor major 7. Okay, and if you look at that shape, it's the same as an A minor or an E major shape, but it's on the top 3 strings and you've got the open D. So just quickly, those 3 chords again, you've got the D augmented with the suspended 2, you got the A augmented, also suspended 2, and then D minor major major 7. They're the 3 chords that are going to feature in our progressions. So the first progression today is going to show or feature the D augmented chord that I just showed you. And this chord progression in its simplest, sort of plainest form, if you like, is very, very simple. I'm not even going to play the whole thing because it will, it takes up unnecessary time. But we're going to be basically playing 6 bars on a D chord, right? That's 3, we'll play it. That's 4, that's 5, 6, and then we're going to go to a G, and then a G minor, and then we'll just finish on the D chord. So really it's a D to G, G minor, resolve back to D. What's really beautiful in that chord progression, even before we do much to it, is this 4 chord going to the minor 4. That's a borrowed chord and a very, very classic sound. You hear it heaps in many tunes. The Beatles used it all the time, and it's been used a lot since, and probably before the Beatles too. But going to that minor 4 to the 1, even without doing anything else, is a beautiful sound. But what we're going to do here, we've got 6 bars on D, so we can basically play a D suspended with a little embellishment on top. I'm just hammering on and pulling it off, so it just adds a little bit of, sophistication, if you like, to the progression. And then I go to the D augmented. So there's the D augmented chord, okay? So D augmented. Then this would be like a D6 chord and then back. Now notice there, that covers the D for the first 4 bars. So what we're doing here, notice the note on the 3rd string. Each time we change, it moves up 1 fret and then back down. So you get this chromatic movement. That's a really beautiful sound when you get chromatic movement in a chord progression. That's called voice leading. One voice or one note of one chord smoothly connecting to a note in the next chord. So it goes up 1 fret, up another, and back down. And then we continue, and it's here. Instead of D6, we go to G, and then the G minor, and a D with an F sharp in the bass. Or D suspended 2 with an F sharp in the bass. Now, just that second time through, basically. So we had the D augmented, and then at this point, this is a G chord. I'm keeping the 3rd and the 4th fingers as they were for the D6 earlier in the progression, but instead of playing it with a D root, I'm using my 2nd finger to play G on the bottom string, still get the little embellishment, then flat the 3rd, so the B comes down to B flat. You could also see that as the D augmented chord with a G in the bass, but it's a G minor chord in this context, and then the D with the F sharp. Okay, so just to listen to the progression there again. So back to the augment, and then second time through, augmented, G, G minor, and the D with the F sharp, D sus2 with the F sharp. The second chord progression here today, similar to the first one in that we're going to be filling out a static sound, and this is going to feature the A augmented chord, the A suspended that we augmented. Okay, so the basic chord progression in its simplest form, you got an A for 4 bars, or A suspended 2 if you like, and then it goes to the 4, D, and D minor. So there's that major 4, or the major 4 chord to the minor 4 chord, such a great sound, and to the A. So really very similar to the last chord progression, in fact the same. Okay, it's got the 1 chord going to the 4, minor 4, back to 1, using though a different key and using some different voicings as you're about to see. We have over the A, the augmented. So what's happening here, that's 4 bars of A there. I've got the A suspended, Then I've got the augmented, then it's the 6, and this is an A7 suspended 2 chord. Then I go to a D suspended 2, and if I take that D suspended 2 shape and move it up 3 frets, I get the D minor 9 chord there. So the same shape moved up 3 frets, goes from D major to D minor, that major 4 to minor 4 sound that's so beautiful, and then we could finish on an A add 9 chord there. Okay, that A add 9 chord is simply the A chord with the root note on the second string moved up 2 frets. That makes it an A add 9 because the B is the 9, and you've added it to the A chord along with the open strings around it. And this first part, so let's just break this down a little bit more. So you're moving up chromatically on the 4th string, augmented, then F sharp, so the 6. Unlike the previous progression where we went back down to the augmented to return to the 1 chord, which you could do here of course, but what I do in this example is I go up 1 more note, which makes it the A7 sus 2. So you've got this chromatic movement that's ascending 4 frets. Sounds so good when it's in with the chord progression. So again, the 7, and then the D sus 2, up 3, D minor 9, and here we could use some harmonics. So these, you know, when you're playing on A, the open string harmonics around here sound really nice. I'm sounding those harmonics by using my index finger to lightly touch above the fret, just like your fretted hand finger would, but it's busy. And then my thumb plucks from behind. So I'm just touching and plucking from behind. I've got videos on the channel with harp harmonics that show you that. So I might link to one right now just so you can check that out if you really like that sound. So this last progression here is going to be a familiar sound perhaps, but it's a little disguised, but I'll reveal what it is or where you've heard it many, many times in a moment. But it's using the minor major 7 chord, this D minor major 7 chord. But the progression is simply D minor for 4 bars. Okay, it's just pretty plain. D minor, and we're going to resolve to the A. Okay, but what we're going to do is we're going to play D minor major 7, D minor 7, and D minor 6 to, and we'll go to this A add 9 chord, which we've used in a previous progression. Beautiful sound. Okay, so again, like the other 2 progressions, we've got a long time on a single chord. So instead of just playing, you know, D minor for the full 4 bars, we can move that voice. This time, instead of, now here's the difference, instead of ascending like it was in the D augmented and in the A augmented progressions, this one is descending, but it's chromatic too. If we follow that voice on the 2nd string, we see it moves down chromatically. Okay, down 4 notes chromatically, and then resolves into the A. So again, D minor, D minor 7, D major minor 7, then D minor 7, D minor 6, and A. We could span it out a bit more maybe to, if you wanted, you could do, and you could come back. Okay, so a bit longer on the D minor now, and then you could take it down to D minor 6 and A minor, or A add 9. And we could use some harmonics there again if we like. Where have you heard this before? You're probably thinking maybe you have, but where it's really where you've heard it before, whether you're aware of it or not, is this. Right, we've all heard Stairway to Heaven. And if I was in a music store right now, I'd be in trouble, right? But, and for those of you who don't know, that's kind of universally banned from playing in music shops because it's played so much. But this is A minor, A minor 7, different voicings, and the voicing that the specific voicing moving down chromatically is lower in the chord than it was here, but it is the same sound. It's moving down chromatically. So that actually moves then to an F chord, so it's going down in the bass. That's why it works so great. And then, you know, goes to the, yeah, whatever it does after that. Okay, so that is the same. So now it's not Stairway to Heaven in a different key here, it's just the same voice movement, the same progression essentially. And it's a very, very common way to fill out a minor chord when you're on it for a few bars. It's a minor chord vamping, if you like. If I use similar voicings as Stairway to Heaven, right? So perhaps you can relate to it a little bit more when I put it in similar voicings to Stairway to Heaven, but it's the same chord movement. So the minor major 7 chord, beautiful sounding chord in its own right, and sounds great as part of a minor vamp. If you would like help with your finger picking, the kind of help that gets you results in the most direct, efficient, fun way possible, then check out the Ultimate Fingerpicking Guitar course, a complete system for fingerpicking acoustic guitar, so simple even a beginner can learn it. I've carefully designed this course to do all the heavy lifting for you, as far as knowing exactly what to do, how to do it, and when to do it in regard to mastering the art of fingerpicking guitar. All you have to do is follow the pathway I've laid out for you. In the Ultimate Fingerpicking Guitar course, you will learn and master all the key concepts, methods, strategies, and techniques needed for fingerpicking, so you'll never put your guitar down in frustration again, thinking, how the hell do I do this? You will also discover the exact order in which to do things, avoiding the all too common mistakes most people make when learning to fingerpick guitar, saving you precious time and frustration. Have your hand held every step of the way with the Ultimate Fingerpicking Guitar course. It will take you from wherever you are at right now with your fingerpicking to where you would like to be, enjoying every part of the process along the way. So click the link in the description below the video and check out the Ultimate Fingerpicking Guitar course. Let me know in the comments section what acoustic guitar topics you'd like to see covered in future videos. Let me know of beautiful sounding chord progressions you like to play on guitar. Sometimes it's the voicing that makes the chord progression sound beautiful. Sometimes it's the type of chord, no matter how you play it, makes the chord progression sound beautiful. But I'd love to hear of chord progressions you like to play on guitar that sound really beautiful. So drop me a line, don't be shy. I would love to hear, and I would respond if you do. If you like this video, then hit that like button, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Now, my analytics tell me that over 80% or about 80% of people who watch my videos are not subscribed, and you might think you are because they pop up in your feed because you've seen videos before, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're subscribed. If you subscribe and of course hit the notification bell button, then YouTube will tell you when I've released a new video. So if you like the channel, I'd appreciate the subscription. Thank you all the same for being here today. I really do appreciate your time as always. It's great to have you here, and I very much look forward to seeing you in the next video.